Live.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Coalition. This will be the Power Book 2 Ghost Trailer Breakdown. And I am Dana Abercrombie, the entertainment editor, and I am joined by Mr. Richard Bailey Jr. How are you doing, Mr. Bailey Jr.?
Doing good, Dana. Can't wait to talk about Power Book 2 Ghost Season 3.
And I forgot to introduce your title. So,
Oh, yeah, you're
this
good.
this trailer, I don't know about for you, but for me, it was very exciting, and it kind of felt like we haven't had another Ghost season since what 3 years ago.
I agree 100%. I'm still a little annoyed that they decided to move the season to this year because I was expecting for us to see this season in November because season 2 came out in November of the previous year. So, but it was well, yes, very exciting, and it's a lot of stuff to talk about for sure.
Well, it could be worse. We could be getting Tower of Force instead. So, yay.
Yes,
We
yes.
joke. We love that show. This is such a great show. So, Stars, Stars finally revealed, so they revealed details in regards to, there were a couple of images that were released a couple of weeks ago, like almost, what, 3 weeks ago maybe? I did a breakdown for that of what the trailer of those images and what we kind of did expect. But now that we have a trailer, we have a wee bit more information, and I'm excited about this. So let's just kind of start off from the very beginning where it says, basically a suit doesn't make a man, right? And it's not going to change who you really are, especially those who know you at your core. So to me, it kind of felt like we're going to get a different, not a different side of Tariq, but a different image he's trying to portray. What did you feel from that?
I agree 100%. I know they had a shot in there where he had on a gray suit, and I instantly thought to myself, "Hey, Ghost has a suit like that." So, yeah, they're trying to transform him to into his father, and I would make a guess that in this season, that's also a metaphor for the fact that you're going to see Tariq, and you're going to see the regular Tariq, and then you're going to see the Ghost Tariq, where in which he's more like his father because he'll probably have this whole duality thing where he flips in and out, and maybe he does some reckless things like Ghost would have done, and maybe he'll try to be smarter, like Tariq always says that he's smarter than his father and all this other stuff. So that's what my guess is. One thing I do want to mention though, I do love it, like with season two. I really love the
Mhm.
wardrobe they have for all of the characters. Tariq always looking sharp. In every episode, he looking sharp. So I look forward to seeing, how they're going to make him look now that he has to wear a suit on a regular basis. I would assume throughout the season. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that for sure.
I'm looking forward to that as well. And so we know that there's going to be not a bunch, but maybe so we're getting some new characters, and so that is very exciting. But what's really interesting is that we saw, he's Braden and him still look like they're thick as thieves. They look like they are the Tommy and Ghost of the show, and they're not, whatever happened in the previous season. Remember, there was parts where we thought they were going to testify against each other, but they are still going at it. They're still like they're in that bromance, not, in terms of best friends and going to stick by each other's side. And so now they want to expand, which seems really exciting. They want to expand into Wall Street. So this kind of elevated everything. We're no longer doing, university type stuff with the app, which was very clever. But now we're stepping into Wall Street. And if anybody has ever been alive, especially in America, we know that's where the real money comes from. So what do you think of that new atmosphere that we're getting?
Hey, I think that's an excellent idea. I believe you mentioned in your previous video that we know that Braden is going to now be working at a hedge fund. So
Hmm.
that's going to possibly explain how he eventually gets access to people that have more money and they eventually go into the hedge fund. the Wall Street stuff. I think that's a very smart direction because again, last season it was all about course correct, and that's why I'm very curious to see how they handle that storyline. And as you mentioned, yeah, Braden and Tariq is definitely like Tommy and Ghost. They do have their ups and downs. We
Mhm.
saw a lot of that last season. But the one thing that I will mention that I find very interesting is, last
Right.
season there was a very major event that happened where we saw, Tariq's girlfriend Lauren was murdered. So that's why I said, and Breda has something to do with that as well as Effie. So I'm very curious to see how that storyline continues and picks up because again, Tariq has no idea that they were involved. He just knows that she died. So that's why I said I'm very curious to see how they handle that. But
Right.
it's going to be fun because again, they had their issues when they had course correct. I would assume now that they're going into Wall Street, they're going to continue to have some struggles working together. So let's see how that plays out, and it should be a lot of fun for sure.
And there was that scene that really looked like something out of Wolf of Wall Street. So we're going to get a lot of debauchery, which makes me really excited to see.
Yes, absolutely.
So, so I'm kind of happy for that. Now we're kind of introduced to this new girl who is, I don't know if she would be Mecca's boss, Mecca's connect, Mecca's something. She is British, which that we do know. And basically, she says, "You think you can replace Mecca?" And Tariq responds with, "Oh yeah." So, how do you kind of feel about that? Do you? She's now the new head person in charge. So he killed a Mecca. It seemed like just to only get another Mecca.
Yes, yes. Well, let me start off by saying I want to give a shout out to our very good friend, Mr. Gary A. Swaby. He did say that this actress was on Top Boy. Now, I haven't seen Top Boy yet, so he's very familiar with her work. In the trailer, they make her look very dangerous. So I would assume that, again, we know that with Mecca last season, he was a
Mm-hmm.
very demanding. He was a very demanding boss, but the weakness he had was Monet. So it kind of makes me wonder if this character also has a weakness, if that will be exposed in the
Mm-hmm.
season, which I have no idea if they're going to go in that direction. But obviously, this person has some history with Mecca, so that already makes it very interesting to see what exactly she's going to do. But as you said, it could be a connect, and it may be some has to work with, and of course, that means he's going to be under a lot of pressure because we already know last season that when Mecca did die, we had Blanco, one of your favorite detectives from the original Power, noticed that Tariq was at the scene of the crime once again. He was in Mecca's apartment. So I kind of feel like there's a lot of bad things coming for Tariq this season. So why not throw in a
Mm-hmm.
connect also that he would have to deal with? So it's going to be a lot of drama, a lot of action, and a lot of guessing as to what's going to happen. And of course, I would assume some betrayals as well because power has to be some type of betrayal that happens as well.
Right. And it was really interesting. You brought up something previously in regards to maybe this is a connection to, remember there was going to be, or maybe there is, in the works the UK Power spinoff that
Oh yeah.
I think it was like 2021 or 2022 they mentioned.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, here's the thing. It's no secret that there was an interview that one of the people at Stars had a while back mentioned that they have an interest in expanding and that they would expand to the UK. Now, the other thing is that we know that Stars they are very high on BMF right now, and so and they are also invested in Power. So if they do expand Power and they decide to go to the UK, this is an excellent way to do that if they want to talk about this particular character and go into that character's backstory. I don't know if we're going to get any of that stuff in this season because it feels like everything is taking place in New York and it's going to be heavily dealing with these characters. So I have no idea if that's the direction that they're going to take. But if they want to expand to the UK, that's an excellent idea. And I think we're going to start to really get a feel for that because, I kind of feel like they need to go in that direction if they want to go beyond just making it all about it. This takes place here in the States. So
Right.
we'll see what happens.
And also, so this is not like just little word of mouth. This was reported by Deadline, and they
Mhm.
approached Catherine Bugsby, who was president of the original program at Starz at the time. And she wouldn't deny nor confirm, but she did say, I'm not at liberty to answer anything in the vein except to say that we love everything about Power, its potential to spin off successfully, which we have done. So in theory, because she can't answer that question, we would love to do it again. And I love that you're hearing that news. So that seemed much hopeful as opposed to, I don't know what you're talking about. No. So that could be very exciting. And this character that we have, she does have her British accent. So many times we see British actors, with the American accent. And but by her, I feel not hiding that British accent could be that connection to the UK spinoff. And maybe it's led by a woman this time. So that would be fascinating to see.
I agree
So,
100%.
and she looks,
So,
yeah,
oh no, I was going to say yeah. So we'll see what happens, but I agree that that would be a great, interesting way to show how things are done over in the UK. Like I said, I haven't
mhm,
seen the Top Boy show yet. They dive into some of that stuff in that show, but I would love to see them expand upon Power and bring it over there as well, just to see what kind of stuff happens.
right. So then we kind of jumped to Monet is back. Obviously, we all knew she was coming back. And what's really interesting with her is that she says, I'm in charge now, so things are about to be different. Remember before it was Tahada, working with Tahada, her husband, and kind of taking commands from him. But since now he's been away at prison, she had to step up the game. And now to me, it seems, she has this sense of freedom and liberty that she's not willing to give up. And then also on that note, she's on a war path because Zeke is dead. So remember, he died, I believe, at the finale episode of season two. Yeah, two. So what do you think with her now? The thing is that I wonder if her rage can be blinding and she would start making mistakes that Tahada wouldn't make.
That's a very good question. Um, well, here's the thing. This is actually going to be,
Mhm.
I feel, this is going to be one of the juicier storylines this season. We already know last season all the drama with the Tejada family and the revelation that Zeke was her son, and of course the
Yes.
family dinner that you have been waiting for them to replicate on other shows. I mean, that was a fantastic episode. Still, so,
I
but
love
it's
that.
oh yeah, no, it was awesome. But you see, the reason why this is one of the juicier storylines is because we know as viewers that it was Lorenzo that killed Zeke last season. So obviously, I would imagine he still feels somewhat guilty about that. And I kind of feel like, as you said, Monet is on a war path. She wants to get some answers. So at some point, she's going to have to collide with Lorenzo. And we already know that the family is sort of divided in how they view their mother and their father. We saw that last season. So I look forward to seeing
Yes.
what happens now once the news comes out, what her reaction is going to be. I mean, like I said, I cannot wait to see how that plays out. That's going to be very exciting to see. Very dramatic as well. So I look forward to seeing what happens.
I definitely look forward to that. And the fact that she, if once she finds out, that can be, woo, that's the whole thing. And then you have the guilt of Tahada. So you see everybody's coming back. And to me, we get more fleshed out with the characters and their dimensions. And so for me, this looks like it's a really interesting, I said before. And so next time we have which is really interesting, after I'm in charge, Tahada says she's coming after all of us. We don't know what that means yet. We don't know if it's the British lady here who showed very fearsomeness um, with what she's doing. I'm trying to, sorry, wrong picture. I'm trying to pull it up. Sorry, my computer froze. But I'm gonna just wait until the computer unfreezes. Sorry about that. Okay, so well, like I said, so we don't know if she's talking about the British lady, if she's talking about her family. I do you believe that she could be talking about her family? Because that would be something completely insane if she starts taking out her own members of her family. I think she would probably take out Tahada. That would be sad. But who do you think she's talking about?
That's a very good question. Uh, I don't have an idea of it could be this British lady. Maybe she becomes a problem for the family.
Mhm.
I have no idea. But one thing I will say is we also saw in that trailer that the siblings were talking and they made mention that it's Monet. Monet is doing something. And then this is why they get very clever
Mhm.
with how they cut the trailer, because the next scene you see Method Man, his character Davis talking to Tariq saying you got to take her out. So that's why I say they make you think it could be maybe he's talking about Monet, or maybe he's
So,
talking about this British Connect. So the way they edit it, they're very clever with the editing, which is why you'll have to
mhm.
see how it actually plays out on the show. But one thing I will say, and again, I do think that if Monet finds out that Lorenzo killed Zeke and she decides to kill him or have him killed, then that will cause issues with the kids, because we already know that Diana is very close to her father, and I kind
Mhm.
of feel like she would be the one that would try to facilitate something to get revenge on Monet. So that's why I said when they made that comment, it could have been directed towards Monet, or it could have been directed towards this the British lady. We don't know yet, but I just want very clever with the editing, because it's going to keep you guessing as to how things play out until we actually see the episodes.
Right. So then now we jump to what happens with Lauren's situation. Lauren was killed during, forgot which episode, but she was murdered by Effie. I hope I'm right with that.
Yeah.
Yes, she was murdered by Effie,
Well, yeah,
right?
well, supposedly Effie and Braden, they work together.
Effie and Braden.
We definitely have to get answers about that this season, I would think.
Right. And
Yeah.
so we do know that Tariq is very concerned and was wondering what is going on with her. Obviously, he's been calling and no one has been responding. But, she does say they have conversation with Laura, sorry, Effie and Braden have a conversation. And they do say, we have to tell him about Lauren. And then she responds, we're taking that to the grave. And then she meets with Tariq, and he said, what do you want, Tariq? And this is what I feel like he's cornering. We don't know because, again, clever editing. He's cornering her about Lauren. He wants to know. But then we see this, which she's not reaching for a gun. She's reaching for a phone. And to me, that looks like Lauren's phone, which adds a whole nother layer of complications. So it's going to actually be revealed, and we're going to get again the kind of Brady Bunch group is going to be broken up behind this. Is there any turning back with once he finds out that they were responsible for Lauren's death? Will he team back up with them?
Yeah, there has to be an explanation as to what happened. There has to be some consequences, because again, we know that that was Tariq's girl.
Mm-hmm.
So for everything to happen the way it happened, you definitely want some answers. I understand why Tariq is still angry about it, and he wants to find out what happened. So I think we definitely will get an explanation this season. Um, but the interesting thing is going to be how it impacts their relationship moving forward. See, because
Mm-hmm.
if they have to work together, then that definitely will cause some issues, some trust issues. So I look forward to seeing how they explain all of this stuff.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely going to impact how they interact with the season. If I had to make a guess.
I hope they don't do what they did with the original Power, where Remember how Kane and Tommy and Ghost, they crossed each other and killed people they wouldn't or shouldn't have killed, and they still kind of came back. So for me, I don't want that quick be super friends again reaction after we just had a shootout and tried to kill each other. I understand that friendships work differently, but just give me a breather of I can't stand you, I don't want anything to do with you, and breaking up. And if he does find out, he says her. I want the truth. And I wonder, to me, I think he may already know that she's dead. He just wants it to hear it for that final closure. And plus him running around not being able to contact her, that's painful enough. So you know he's gonna bring it up to Braden and Effie all the time. So I wonder what that's also doing to them and their psyche as well. So then we kind of jump to my favorite scene of the trailer so far. I'm going to surmise because again, clever editing. I don't know what this is really about, but we have the funeral, whom I'm going to assume is Zeke. Now, very interesting. During this funeral, either Zeke or someone, you see that right there. There's ends up being a shootout. You see that it looks like there's a bullet hole. People are either on the floor, they're ducking, so they're shooting at the casket. We see that the van gets shot up, and obviously that it's a hearse, so that gets shot up as well. We see the I am not a gun aficionado, so we see, there is that shootout happening. We don't know who the target is. We do see, sorry for the blurriness, but that looks like, going by light skinness, that looks like it could be Tahada. We know
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they're trying to
Lorenzo.
protect him.
Yep.
Lorenzo. So it looks like they're trying to protect him. We don't know whether or not he's been shot. He falls down. Big burly man is right there. So someone is shooting the funeral, it seems like. Who do you think it could be? Could this be retaliation from Mecca's people for killing Mecca? Could this be, I don't know. And who do you think could be the target, more importantly, because he's already dead?
Yeah. Well. Here's the thing. That's yeah. I would have to say that definitely was an exciting thing that they put in the trailer. I can't wait to see how that scene plays out. To me, it feels like it definitely could be somebody wanting retaliation for what happened to Mecca. Just if I had to make a
Uh-huh.
guess right off the bat. Now, obviously, we have to see how it plays out storyline wise and who it actually is. But that's how it looks to me in the trailer. Um, and of course, I would imagine that there are going to be more casualties this season. Certain characters, I will be surprised if a major character doesn't die this season because it kind of feels like it needs to happen because we're in the third season now that something significant has to happen to somebody. So I look forward to seeing what actually happens. But yeah, I was also very excited when I saw that scene because it looked very intense. Uh, so it kind of makes me curious to know uh, what direction they're going in. And as for that shot you had of Lorenzo, I mean, it kind of looks like
Hmm.
it makes me wonder: was Lorenzo getting kidnapped in that photo? Was he being saved because they tried to shoot him? You see, I can't really tell in that photo.
Oh, I never thought of that. That the shoot up would be a distraction to kidnap Lorenzo.
Yeah, because it looks like that. Like the person who's holding him looks kind of angry with the angry expression on their face. So, but again, I don't know yet because again, we haven't really seen any episodes yet. Uh, the show will be out a month from today, so we will start to get some answers slowly but surely. But definitely one of the more exciting parts of the trailer, no doubt about it.
And this is kind of when kind of jumped a little bit ahead. We kind of get that it's Monet again. She's always a problem, and obviously, I don't think that it's connected to the shooting, but she is she's somehow, she gets in the way with certain situations. We do know that she does not care for Tariq. We do know that McLean is working for both Tariq and Monet at the same time. I wonder how this is going to interfere because remember, the drugs now moved from the university, which she was trying to control, and now into Wall Street, which she couldn't really, again, try to control. That could end up with more interactions negatively with the British lady. So McLean does say it says it's Monet again. She's the problem. It's Monet again. She's always the problem. And then McLean responds, she has to go. But the way how it's edited, we don't know who she is. When he said kind of she has to go, that could also imply to the British lady because remember he said, who is she? I don't know who she is. So it could also involve that as well, where McLean, this is getting too big, too much problems. She has to
And
go. So yeah.
I 100%. I just was going to add one point here because you mentioned McLean. We also have to remember that McLean has his own issues going into this season. Obviously, they didn't show this in the trailer, but one thing we do know from last season is that he has still been trying to get his brother out of prison,
Yes, nothing. Red Man.
Redman. Obviously, that's not his name on the show, but we know who he is as a famous rapper. But the thing is that Sax has different intentions, and I kind of feel like because they had that scene last where Redman told Davis, "Hey, listen, they're going to find out more about you if you keep pushing this whole thing to try to get me out." So I kind of feel like that's going to happen this season. And that's why I say it's going to be very
Mm-hmm.
dramatic. So they're going to go through something as well. I have to say, I'm very surprised that Sax has outlived Ghosts. Um, so we will see. We will see if that changes this season.
Should have been Proctor. Poor Proctor. Rest in peace. But yeah, and then
Yeah,
we get a lot of kind of fighting clips. So we do know that a war is a brewing. We don't
yeah,
know
yeah.
who
I
everyone is
believe.
because
I believe that clip. Braden got punched. He got knocked out. He got hit by somebody. I don't know if that's Tariq or I can't really see because I see the back of the person's head. So it could be Tariq. It could be. I mean, I don't know who it is.
if it is Brayden, maybe that's when Tariq finds out what really happened with Lauren or something completely else. So yeah, so that seems interesting. And then we kind of go to one of the more pivotal clips. And this is something that, kind of dates back from the first season. We know that Tariq is trying to be his own person. We know that he kind of struggled with is he going to go the straight and narrow path or is he going to go to a path that is basically family business? Is he going to run the family business? And he struggled from the very beginning with kind of getting out of Ghost Shadow. Remember when we had moments when Ghost was literally there with him? Obviously, it was an edited scene because the actor who plays Ghost is not on the set, but we had scenes with him and Ghost literally there. We do know he killed his father. But what's really interesting is Grandma is starting to notice things. Grandma always seems to notice things that you can say really don't matter or matter the most depending on your look of things because she's not really good at grandmothering at the moment. But we do know that did say, um, you're just like your father. And then Tariq responds, I'm not like my dad. I'm smarter than him. I'm better than him. So it seems like we know exactly the path that Tariq wants to take. This is no more guessing game. He has chosen his path and he wants to be better than what his father was able to be. And so that seems a bit interesting. And when we see him with the silencer, we don't know who he's going to silence. But we kind of see that, and we've seen plenty of times with Ghost doing the silencer thing as well. So it's a nice little image that they gave us. Or maybe he's the shooter from the funeral casket.
Hey, you never know. We obviously know that he was willing to work with the Tejadas last season, and
Please force him.
he also outsmarted them though as well last season a couple of different times. So it's
Mm-hmm.
I'm very curious to see how all of that plays out. But I will say though to go back to what I had said at the very beginning of when we started the podcast is they're definitely trying to show I think the duality of Tariq, how he
Mm-hmm.
can be just like his father, but then he also has his side of who he actually is. So I kind of feel like we're going to definitely see that. If there's one thing that I pulled out of this trailer, it's that this character you're going to see him have two different sides of himself throughout the entire season. And I obviously want to see how that plays out because obviously, if he does find out, which I believe he will, that Braden and that Braden has something to do with what happened to Lauren. I kind of feel like he may want to do something to Braden. So that's why I said I'm very curious to see what happens. But
Mm-hmm.
very exciting trailer, no doubt about it. And again, perfect to release it yesterday. Obviously, we are recording this a day later, but this is also, like I said, the show is coming out March 17th. So this is approximately 30 days from today. The season starts. So good timing by
Mm-hmm.
Starz to release the trailer and get people excited for next month.
Exactly. And remember St. Patrick's Day. I thought that was the most clever marketing to release
Yes,
the
yeah,
St. Patrick's Day.
that absolutely
So,
was very clever marketing for sure. Yes, definitely.
so we also have a little bit of love relationships that will be popping off. We do know that Lorenzo Tate's character, he has a new woman. We don't know anything about her, but he has a new flame that is going to be a part of the show. I wonder if it's going to be an actual serious relationship this time. I wonder if he's going to continue to get hurt. What do you kind of think about this here, this lovely lady? And he looks really
Uh,
happy.
well, very interesting. But we also know that Rashard Tate is a player. So I'll be very
Yeah.
curious how long that relationship lasts. He may move on to another one before we even get to episode 3 or 4, if I had to make a guess. But we'll have to see. I have no idea.
And then we know that Tariq and um, not Effie. Oh my gosh, I forgot the girl's name. The girlfriend.
Not Lauren. You said Lauren?
Not Lauren, the
Diana.
girlfriend, the Tariq, Diana. Yes. So we do know that him, Tariq, and Diana kind of get it on as well.
Well, hold on
And
a
so I
second.
wonder,
Wait, hold on. Was that Tyreek in that picture? I couldn't tell because I
was
couldn't
that
tell. Is
not
that his
though?
same head? I have no
I don't.
idea.
Well, there's a clip somewhere that we do know that their relationship is they're still together. I thought that was him. That could be
Okay,
Lorenzo, but it could be no.
that.
That's Diana.
Oh no! Well, hey, whoa! It better
No,
not be
that's Tariq's
Lorenzo.
earring. No,
Yeah,
no, no.
you said
No, that's.
yeah, you said Lorenzo. It better not be Lorenzo. That'll be whoa.
I
What kind of
mean,
show would this be then?
oh no, no. That's Tariq. You can tell by his earrings. That is Tariq,
Okay.
and that is
So
Diana. And their relationship is relationshiping,
so
and yeah.
so one thing I do want to say, yeah, it probably is Tariq. One thing that they need to explain in this season, and we need to see how it evolves. We know that Diana started to get close to Effie last season. They have a bit of a
Mm-hmm.
bond going on, and Tariq is messing with both of them. So I want to see what happens because obviously now Tariq is with Effie. Okay, he's with Effie now. By the end of last season, he was with Effie. So I want to see what happens now if things get messy with Effie, if he goes around and messes with Diana, and then they both find out about it. That's what I want to see because it's a bit of a love triangle, similar to last season when Lauren was involved in this, but now it's just Effie and Diana. So I want to see how that storyline plays out.
And then what we didn't get to see, but I really think it is important to mention, was remember in the previous episode at the very end, um, Tariq was his crimes was caught on tape by Detective Blanca, who was the original detective from Power, and she has it out for the not the Tahana, sorry, for the St. Patrick's of the
Yes.
world. So yeah, we have that is going to be a big she's I guess would be the villain, one of the villains of this season. They brought her back. I know Gary was very excited for that. You kind of groaned and moaned, but Jay is back. So
Well, yeah.
how do you think
Well,
she
hey,
plays in this?
listen. I don't have a problem with her coming back because if they have a good story for the character, I'm okay with it. I will say though, I was very annoyed that they showed this character at the end of Force. and then it's like they say, well, we're going to keep an eye on what's happening in Chicago, but now we need to focus on New York. And I didn't like that. So that's what I don't like. But I'm very curious to see what her role is in this. Obviously, we know that she was Mecca was her CI. And when Mecca got killed at the end of last season, that's when she showed up. So a very good way to bring the character back. But I want to see what are they going to do with this character moving forward in the season, because I kind of feel like with Power and with Ghost, right? Anytime Ghost had to get over an obstacle, he eventually got over it. So if Tariq is like
Hmm.
Ghost, Tariq also needs to get over this obstacle of this character. So I want to see what their plan is for her throughout the season. But I look forward to seeing it for sure. Because again,
I
they're
won. Oh,
stacking.
sorry.
Oh no. Because again, I just want to say they're stacking the deck against Tariq. So obviously, as a fan of the show, you're watching to see how he gets out of these situations. So I look forward to seeing what happens for sure.
Right. And what's really interesting is I wonder how this one, with by bringing Blanca into the fold, kind of that interaction between him and both McLean and Sax. So those three could be a very interesting dynamic, and that kind of harpers back to what kind of opened up the trailer was when he said, people are still watching, but it won't fool the people still watching. And they're watching your every move, and we know Blanca, she's right there. So is this new image kind of something that he's that we all know she doesn't believe in? So I wonder how that also ties into it. And then we have the other side part, which I keep forgetting, is Tasha, the baby sister. They're still up in witness protection in the mountains, doing whatever it is. And we do know that she was finally reunited with the daughter at the very end. And so I wonder how this plays in with Ghost. He did say, quote, Tariq doesn't really know what he wants to do, as you saw in the finale. All the troubles he's got going on, and all the money he's going to have to spend. Who knows what he's going to do? He might have to step one foot back into the game. It's hard for Tariq right now. He's in a very interesting predicament. And then, also the reason why he didn't want to spend so much money was because he was trying to save it for his life with his family. So, do you think he will ever be reunited with his family once again?
That's a very good question. Obviously, they didn't show any of that in the trailer because, again, they don't need to show a lot of information. They just show us enough to get us excited for the season. I understand that. My theory on this is that I do believe that Tariq eventually will reunite with his sister, but for some reason, I think something's going to happen to Tasha. And again, they take out the Tasha character because listen, the character, like I said, Tariq really is he really is a bad guy when he does certain stuff on the show. But you're watching because you are invested in the character. You want to see what they do. So if he eventually gets out of all this other stuff that's happening, there has to be some bad stuff that comes along with that. Maybe one of his friends, Braden, or so on and so forth, ends up getting taken out. I mean, something bad has to happen to Tariq also because there are also casualties in war. So even though you may win the war, there's still going to be some consequences you face afterwards. So I kind of feel like I would not be surprised if Tasha eventually is killed off the show. I don't think that's going to happen yet, but we'll see what happens because they didn't really talk about any of that in the trailer. We do know, like you mentioned when you did your other breakdown video, that Tariq's whole goal is to get reunited with his family. But I kind of feel like that's not going to go exactly the way that he hopes it would go. I definitely think he will get back with his sister, but the question really is about Tasha. Tasha, is he going to be able to get reunited with her, or is something going to happen to her? And I kind of feel like we have to wait and see how that plays out. But yeah, he has a lot on his plate now, so he definitely will be preoccupied until that time comes for sure.
Right. And then also kind of wondering, we have Braden's family. We know that it's connected to the hedge fund. But remember the grimy stuff that kind of happened last season involving the family. I wonder how exactly they're going to take to take to Tariq. There was a little undertone of racism there. Remember the racist photo that we had with Lawrence Tate's character was able, but he decided not to use anyway, even though he could have easily used it. So we have that also in play, the interactions with that side of the family, and then the brother. Remember Braden's brother kind of knows what's really going on, and I wonder if he's going to be put into the fold this season as well.
Well, you mean Trace. So Trace
Okay, yes, Trace.
Trace is still a target, I would say, because he was snitching. He turned his back. So I would be curious to see if eventually something happens to him next season. But that's a very good point you brought up about how is Braden's family going to react to Tariq? Because yeah, last season, all that stuff that went down, I kind of feel like there's going to be some consequences from that. And then of course we have Braden confess in court that he created correct to try to protect Tariq. So again, there will be consequences for all of this stuff. And yeah, it is a good point. It definitely could impact his relationship with Tariq. As far as the family, I kind of feel like Braden will always be tight with Tariq because they have a bond. But the family definitely, I don't think they like Tariq much, right now. So
Yeah, so that seems to be everything so far of the trailer. It was a very good trailer. It gave us some information and left a lot of questions open. So, any of the final thoughts that you may have, Richard?
oh no, I agree. Excellent trailer. I would encourage those that have some questions, maybe go back and watch a few episodes from season 2 to get a refresher. Uh, but yeah, I look
Mm-hmm.
forward to covering the show. And for those of you that are subscribed to the channel, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, you already know we will be covering every episode of Power when it returns on March 17th, starting with episode 1. So right after the episodes air, you can look forward to our thoughts on it. We will obviously also try to schedule some live streams as well throughout the season. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it for sure. Next month. Can't wait.
Me too. So, yep, that seems to be our breakdown for the day. We'll be back much later with more stuff. So, thank you. Have a great day, afternoon, evening. Let's do a bless you to Richard, who looks like he's about to sneeze. So, thank you very much, everyone, and have a good day once again.
Have a good day.
End the recording.